We got a bullish XRP update for you guys, despite all of the FUD, right? This fear, uncertainty, doubt, so much confusion out there, so much capitulation, and people, actually quitting crypto at this stage in the cycle. We're going to provide a little update for XRP specifically that tells you why we are not leaving at all. We are still adding to our positions and accumulating XRP along with good utility cryptocurrencies that are actually going to get institutional adoption. I put out this tweet this morning and I said, it's so sad to see people giving up on crypto at this stage in the game. Just because Ethereum, Solana, Chainlink, maybe you have some other crap coins in your portfolio, and they've had such a weak performance, but that does not mean that you should give up on crypto entirely. Just full port to XRP. And I'm not here to give anybody financial advice, but this is my perception of the current market and the state of the crypto space, is that you have a lot of people that are just holding coins that have not performed well since the November 2024 election. Right, for XRP, we're still up about 400, nearly 400% since last year. In 1 year, 400% returns, and yet it feels like this is the end of the world for some folks who don't understand the fundamentals, who can't see the institutional adoption that's about to take place in front of us, who don't understand the ETF countdown is now on. That's right, folks. I'll have an update for you guys here at the end of this episode. The countdown's on. We have the date. Stay tuned for that. But shoot, I'd give up if I held some of that crap too. You guys got a portfolio full of crap coins and you're wondering why you're sad about crypto. What do we expect? You know what I'm saying? Ethereum got an ETF, still barely broke all-time high. Solana just got an ETF. It's down and bleeding. Even for HBAR too, which HBAR is actually holding up really well. That's one of our good utility cryptos that we're still adding to. I picked up more HBAR this past week, and I'm actually going to be looking to add more to HBAR. See, there's a difference between crypto speculators, gamblers, fair weather fans that came through, and they're just throwing money around at all these different crap coins. And oh, I watched a TikToker who said that, this crap coin was going to do something. No, it's not. No, it's not. It never was. See, and I would say that I'd give up on these bags of crap too, but I never owned these crap coins, right? I never owned Solana. I never owned Ethereum. Never bought Chainlink. And so there is nothing for me to give up on because I got a bag that's 90% XRP, full disclosure, and I'm very bullish on that. You guys know that. And then I have a bag of other good utility cryptocurrencies. And I do hold a few XRP meme coins that are down and bled out, but that's the game. I knew I went to the degenerate casino on the XRP ledger playing around with some crap coins, you get smacked up. Okay, that's fine. But that's why 95, actually probably 99% of my portfolio is good utility, 90% XRP, some HBAR, some XLM, and some projects that we still have a lot of conviction in. This is the difference between people who are fundamental investors in crypto and the fair weather fans and the speculators that are just trying to flip a little bag. And peak XRP FUD tells me that we are about to rip just like we did last year. And it's funny because you get this XRP FUD, these guys like to FUD it, they also like to hype it up, and they love the engagement. Scott Melker put out this post, and he's retweeting Santiago Veliz, who answered Scott. In the original question to Scott Melker putting out here, no disrespect, just looking for an actual answer. Sure, you're just clickbait engaging. This is the game that these guys play. What is the current pitch for XRP, the token, not Ripple, the company? And so I just laugh, right? And David does join the conversation. But if you look at the next post right here, he's bull posting XRP. Bitwise Chief Investment Officer Matt Hoogan on XRP ETFs, quote, the XRP army will smash by the ETF. So they go from asking, what's the use case, some XRP FUD, to we're going to hit smash buy on the XRP ETFs, which is true. It is absolutely true. But going back here, David Schwartz responds, and I think provides good clarity for those of you guys who maybe are wondering right now, because I know we got a lot of new people coming in. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our updates, and also make sure that you come back. We do it every Tuesday, Thursday live at 10 p.m. Eastern for a full breakdown and Q&A. But for new people here, wondering what is the role of XRP? What is the utility? David explains it so simply and so elegantly right here. Do you want to use a blockchain where people can be their own bank and no middlemen tax their transactions? Or do you want to be someone else's bank and tax their transactions? If you want the latter, there are dozens of blockchains for you. If you want the former, there's XRP. And I don't think that a lot of people are going to pick up on this. It's kind of a sneak diss on all these other proof of work and proof of stake blockchains, which are still taxing transactions. The XRP ledger has an anti-spam mechanism that does implement a small fee that just gets burned and goes away. Doesn't get paid to miners, doesn't get paid to stakers, doesn't get paid to anybody. It just gets burned, and it's a anti-spam feature. And it can scale up where even if XRP was trading at $1 million, your fee is still going to be so little. And you also could adjust this later on down the road if XRP was at $1 million per coin. But the point being, XRP is free. The XRP ledger is free to use, and XRP serves as the neutral currency on the ledger for transacting this value. And this is the special role. He says, I do think that XRP's special place on the XRP ledger ensures that XRP will capture some of the value XRP ledger transactions generate. XRP is the only asset without a counterparty that can be accessed by every account in every jurisdiction with no risk of default, freeze, or clawback. This is the ledger that allows you to move value seamlessly at next to no cost without any counterparty on your XRP and any risk of default, freeze, or clawback on your XRP. That's the role of XRP on the XRP ledger. Okay? And because of this, it always is in first place when it comes to pathfinding and finding the best source of liquidity on the XRP ledger. Smart order routing through the central limit order book automatically is going to send it through XRP. In most instances, that's where you're going to get the best liquidity. And that's what this is about. Bitcoin was a great first iteration of, a jurisdictionless, permissionless, open source currency, decentralized money. It was the great first iteration, but it wasn't built to scale, to really move significant sums of value in transactions on the network. And this is where XRP came in as the better Bitcoin, right? And XRP will always have that role as the neutral bridge currency, the neutral asset with no counterparty, no default risk, no freeze, no clawback that you ever have to worry about with XRP. Now, like I said, we got peak FUD, not just XRP FUD, peak crypto FUD, capitulation, and guys just quitting crypto. One of the worst times to give up on crypto, in my opinion. Now, it's a great time to get rid of your crap. There's a lot of people holding on to crap that they do need to let go of. Absolutely. Take out the trash. That's a great strategy right now. And move to real utility. Move to companies that are about to get their banking charter. That's right, folks. Today marks the end of the OCC's 120-day review of Ripple's application to establish Ripple National Trust Bank. If approved, Ripple becomes a federally regulated bank, a historic step for XRP and digital finance. See, there's a big difference in this space right now. All this fear, uncertainty, doubt, lack of clarity. Should I give up on my crypto? And I said this a couple weeks ago. There's no FUD in the halls of Ripple. I said this after they made the most recent acquisition, right, of G Treasury. They're making billion-dollar acquisitions, about to become a bank, and the rest of the crypto space is running around not knowing what to do with themselves. And I'm speaking generally. Obviously, there's a few other handful of projects that I do think have real utility, will get institutional adoption, will get inflows from ETFs, and will get supply locked up through digital asset treasuries. But that list is very short. Very short. There's a big difference out here. Now, let's get to the ETF news, because I got something breaking for you guys. Nate Garassi says, still wild to me that BlackRock is just sitting around seeding spot Solana ETFs to its competitors, along with all other spot altcoin ETFs like XRP, right? How is BlackRock going to miss this train? It's not possible. Honestly, don't understand it from a business perspective. Huge benefit to crypto native ETF issuers, though. And so the only way for BlackRock to really step into the game at this point is they have to, one, file the S1. They'd have to file it with the proper language to start the 20-day countdown, just like Canary did for their Litecoin and HBAR ETFs on October 7th, just like Bitwise did on October 8th for their Solana ETF, and just like Grayscale did on October 9th for their Solana ETF. This is the only way for BlackRock to join the party, or if they file the S1 with the proper wording to start the 20-day countdown, or the government opens back up BlackRock gets their filing in, and then the SEC checks off on all of the ETFs between now and November 14th. Now, why am I saying November 14th? Well, because this morning I went through the SEC website. I went through the Edgar filings, right? The public documents. And I looked through all of the spot XRP ETF issuers. And you guys saw that I put out the update that on October 10th, all 7 spot ETF issuers for XRP updated their S1s, but they did not include the proper wording to start the 20-day countdown. And so yesterday's video, I titled it, proof of XRP being held back. And just 1 hour after I put out that video, somebody actually sent me the link to an updated Canary Capital S1 filing, a new amendment that they made on October 24th. Now, I went through the rest of the SEC website, and none of the other issuers have updated their XRP ETF. It is only Canary Capital on October 24th. So here we have the Canary XRP ETF pre-effective amendment number 3 that was filed on October 24th, 2025. Now, I'm going to scroll on down and show you the language that we're looking for that starts the 20-day countdown, which is right here. This registration statement shall hereafter become effective in accordance with the provisions of Section 8A of the Securities Act of 1933. Now, I'm going to play this clip here of Stephen McClurg from Canary Capital, the CEO, and he's going to explain this generic listing standard, but then he also mentions the 6 months of futures trading, which is why I believe when Canary and the 7 other issuers updated their ETFs on October 10th, I believe they waited until the 24th because Coinbase futures for XRP went live on April 21st, and then in May, they went live on the CME. So 6 months from there takes us out from April 21st, and Coinbase futures would take us out till October 21st. And then a few days later, Canary files the update. Listen to this clip right here real quick.
The first question is the obvious one. How did you get these ETFs through at a time when the SEC and the federal government is shut down?
Well, Scarlett, thank you for having me. When the SEC approved the generic listing standards for cryptocurrencies back in September, that actually paved the way for what we're doing now. So those generic listing standards essentially open up the exchanges to be able to launch any cryptocurrency, single token cryptocurrency ETF that actually has a futures market in the US for more than 6 months. So we were able to rely upon that rule to file these ETFs with no delay clause.
So they filed them there, and that was the key part, with no delay clause, which starts the 20-day countdown. And these assets needed to have a futures market for 6 months, which was hit on October 21st, because on April 21st of this year is when the XRP futures went live on Coinbase. Now, about 1 month later, they went live on the CME, but both markets qualify in the SEC's eyes as regulated CFTC futures markets. Right? So that starts the 6 month window of futures, and that expired, or that has passed, on October 21st. And then a few days later, Canary Capital files their updated amendment to their S1 with that, removing that delay clause, starting the 20-day countdown. So folks, we have an answer. I know it's been a confusing week. ETFs, are they going live? Are they not going live? Canary will be going live by November 14th. Going to happen 100%. Now, if the government opens back up and the SEC wants to sign off on everybody else's, then the other ones could go through. But I scoured all through the SEC website, the Edgar filing, searching through all of it. And there's no updates past October 10th. And as I showed you on the live show on October 10th, those filings did not have the delay clause, removed. So only Canary Capital at this point, as of today, from what I can find, has updated their amendment to remove that clause to start the 20-day countdown, which takes us till November 14th, when the Canary Capital XRP ETF could be going live. So folks, this is why there's no FUD over here, right? There's no capitulation over here. I know that the institutions are coming in. I know that the suits are about to start selling this, and these assets are going to absolutely rip. We're talking about XRP, HBAR, and other good utility projects that have ETFs, digital asset treasuries, and real institutional adoption. It is coming. And so right now, I think is one of the worst times you could give up on crypto, and especially giving up on good utility assets like XRP. This is why we aren't going anywhere. And if you guys are looking to load up on crypto, whether it be in a crypto IRA or taking advantage of the premium custody account from iTrust Capital, our sponsor iTrust has you covered, guys. Use my promo code, which is Rector9, to get your $100 funding bonus. Choose what's right for you, whether you want to invest your retirement account. You can roll over an existing employer's retirement account, 401k, etc. Or you can take advantage of the premium custody account, institutional grade custody, no monthly fee. You're doing 1% on the transaction fees over here. Once again, no startup or exit fees. And the promo code is going to be Rector9 to get your $100 funding bonus, folks. Take advantage of it while we can here. The countdown is on. And XRP, I think, is going to be running up significantly before those ETFs go live. And then after that, we'll be well on our way to double-digit prices for XRP into 2026. Please stay locked in. We're not going anywhere. We'll be back live tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you there. God bless. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.